So we are here, episode 1 of the Human Climate. I did not come up with a name. Is that important?
For what?
This episode?
An episode?
No, it doesn't.
No, I think that's...
Well, the U.S. is in turmoil, so does that even matter?
Dude.
We might not even be here in a week, so... Anyways, so... Yeah.
Oh, we got a super volcano.
Not this.
Why would a super volcano affect...
It would
Super
literally
volcano
get
of the
rid of
election
all
is
of
what it
America.
means.
Climate change.
Climate change is fake.
Yeah.
I do not believe that. Also, we gotta speak at elevated, the boys.
And since,
Elevated levels.
Alright.
since I'm a college graduate, I can agree.
See, I told you he was gonna super...
I can agree that
he was
climate
gonna
change.
try to big brain us.
That's the
Climate
first
change
time
is
he
fake.
says that.
That's the first time. Okay.
That's the first time he said
So
that.
let's begin with our introduction, who we are. We're actually missing 2 members, the faithful Jahan and big boy Joseph.
Joe
I was about to say Luke, but Luke is here.
I'm right
So,
here.
Jesus, you want to start us off with your intro? Since you're the softest speaking member of the collective.
Yeah, you got an intro?
Just
I
who
don't
we
know
are,
to
what we
say.
do,
Okay, so,
whatever. Off the rip. You want me to start? Are
yeah, you can go.
You a little Novus. So, I'm Eric. I run the Human Climate Twitter account. And yeah, we all go to school at Goshen College.
I know.
He dropped out because he is a slave to the government, aka he's in the...
Fuck you.
And go ahead, who are you?
I'm Anthony Beatrice, former college student.
Former dropout.
Former
Turn
college
to
student.
American hero.
Former
Fixing
college
up
student.
Airplanes.
Let's
current-
not interrupt the
Current
conversation.
dropout. We're just correcting him. We're just...
No, American hero.
Former college
Medal of Honor
dropout.
winner.
Former college dropout. Failure to my family and girlfriend.
Yes.
Anthony Beatrice.
I've been
you know.
there, dude.
Alright.
I'm Luke. That's about it. I graduated Goshen. That's where we go to school. I'm streaming and I am trying to figure out what the fuck to do with my life.
What a plug. What a plug. I am also...
Well, that's what I'm doing in my free time.
Yeah. He's also a doctor.
Doctor.
Sure. we'll
I'm
go.
also streaming. You can find me on it.
And our last member present today.
Jesus, senior Goshen College student, studying interdisciplinary studies.
For the people at home that most likely do not know what that is.
It means
It's a word
that I
pronounce.
failed to do something with my life.
No.
He failed college but passed enough to keep going.
That's
Well, no, the college is just shoving him through the door.
They're like, no, you're getting out of here.
it's a joke degree from the joke college. is
I mean,
basically
yes,
what he
yes,
said.
that is fair.
It's a Mennonite way of saying you can leave now.
So I also want to talk about kind of how we know each other, because we are a pretty diverse group, minus our 2 members who take away the diversity. But you heard college, a school called Goshen College in the Midwest here in Goshen, Indiana. I'm a business major. You guys actually have a better relationship. I kind of came into the group last minute, so why don't you take it off? What is the seniority? Who started this terrible idea?
The podcast?
No, how we met.
Oh, the collective.
The podcast is next.
Well, I know Jesus from the beginning of freshman year. It was interesting because we kind of got pulled together by cancer, and then we somehow
Oh my
irradiated
God.
that cancer,
Well-
and then we're no longer. We've been clean
Clean for about 3 years.
3 years now from the cancer.
Cancer. AK. Roommate.
Yeah.
No, Luke has cancer. That's what he's referring to.
Oh yeah, dude, I have cancer. But that being said, we started hanging out, and then my internal fear of being alone brings me to want to bring people together. So Jesus went along for the ride for a bit. Then we got the collective going a couple years down the line. And then, since I don't know what to do with my life, I kind of just wanted to make a podcast with my friends. And so I started to make the idea, and then all these wonderful people have helped to make it a reality.
Yeah.
So I met, who did I meet? Jahan
Jahan is missing from today.
Yeah, the Vietnamese kid.
Our IT.
Our IT tech support is missing.
He's currently upgrading
twerk
a Windows
more.
95 computer.
Who the hell?
Yeah.
That must be nuclear codes or something.
And I met Joe. I didn't really know Joe until this summer.
Oh, that was a
And
while.
then Eric, we met last semester.
Yeah. I one day ended up at Luke's apartment,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, oh, another Hispanic guy, finally.
Is that when?
Yeah. I don't know. You guys might have been.
That's true. I was.
Actually, you guys.
And then Tony.
How did you? You are linked
You
through
Jahan.
Jahan.
I was the last one to enter the group because I found out about you through Jahan in like February when I came back from like Texas and stuff.
Right.
And yeah, I basically know everyone else through Jahan, who is my roommate.
Has he burned down the apartment yet?
Oh no.
Close.
Again?
Dude, I thought the apartment was burning down this morning. So
Really?
Oh
I-
my
Does
god.
he do
I woke
it where
up-
he just
No,
like
no.
leaves the-
Wait.
Completely-
Do we want to do this right now? Do we want to?
No, Jahan. If he's a,
So since
Set up
Jahan
a fire
isn't
alarm.
here, we should introduce him with the story. So.
Well,
so many.
no, this isn't a testament to Jahan's character. It's just
We love it.
so
That's
our
debatable.
heat does not work in the apartment.
He's
the-
using Is he using the oven? to
No,
Okay.
he's not that dumb. Okay, he did try microwaving raw chorizo though to
Oh.
cook it. So
What?
Because this makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense.
Was it rubbery after?
No, I was like, what are you doing? There's still a spoon in the bowl too.
Oh,
Oh my
So
this is our friend.
he is.
This is our IT support.
IT support is severely impaired.
Yes.
So our heat does not work, and
Right.
the maintenance people are like, so basically we wired it wrong. It only blows out cold air, and it's tied to the air conditioning. We're gonna fix that. Until then, here's some space heaters. I'm like, okay, I'll
Your
take the
complex
space
gave
heaters.
you space heaters.
Yes,
Okay.
That's nice.
yes,
Was it-
it is.
No,
nice.
it's not nice because they screwed up the. You're gonna find more wiring incorrect most likely.
Listen, the place is already falling apart. I choose not to think about it. So, one of my biggest fears with space heaters is that it's all gonna just like burn
Yeah.
everything
Right.
down.
God.
But I'm
As
like,
they
you know
do.
what? I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'll keep it away from everything else. You know, make sure it's not tangled up in all the wires like the safety tag says. And then I just go to sleep. So it's like fucking cold. And then I wake up and I smell something burning. I'm like, oh fuck! My worst fear came true already in like the span of
You're
like,
about to
fucking-
jump out the window.
in the span of the fucking 8 hours that it's been in my fucking
You're
room.
about
You know.
to escape the fire.
And so I like get up, but I look at the space heater. It turned off. It turns off automatically, I guess. And I was like, then what the fuck? Is it Jahan's room? He's still fucking asleep. I go in the room. No, he was just making fucking breakfast and burned it.
As he does.
in his room.
No, in the kitchen.
Okay, because I was gonna say he has a George Foreman.
He's over
I
there,
have-
Michael Scott. He gonna burn his foot.
He makes a mean grilled cheese on the George Foreman.
I mean, is that something to brag about?
Oh no,
It
it
is.
is.
Can you?
It
Is
is.
it that
Dude,
good?
I like yeah, I mouth orgasm.
I
Oh.
think I have an update on our beloved Jahan.
You
He's
got it.
he's in Goshen.
Is he
So
coming?
He might.
No,
be
he doesn't know
coming.
how to come in here.
Well, we could just run up and get
Through a
him.
break, yeah, when we're
Do a
taking a
break.
break.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because we have 5 minutes.
So I got into this group also through Jahan. I used to hang out with some other friends of ours, and they would go to a lot of out of school events. And Jahan was always the DJ. He's also the DJ for a lot of school events as well.
Well, the ones that were there, not the ones
Yeah,
that-
of course, these are non-existent. And yeah, that's just kind of. And then Joe is connected through, I assume, Luke, because I met Joe because of Luke as well over the summer.
Yeah, funny thing, I met Joe my first semester at Goshen actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The first time Joseph was in my house, he had just finished like a late night lab study, and it was like the first day of the pandemic, like first day school shut down, and they're like, "Oh, let's go pick up Joe. Let's go get food." I pick him up, and he's just coughing. He's just coughing. And I'm like, "Yo, what's wrong with your friend?" They're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We get food. We come back. He just like plops on my couch and like takes my Switch. I'm like, oh, this is a great introduction. He was, and I have to ask him because I'm like getting concerned. You know, we knew absolutely nothing. I'm like, what is wrong with you? He's like, I like inhaled a whole bunch of particles.
Yeah, and in his defense, he didn't have COVID. He just probably irreparably damaged his lungs.
He has irreversible
lung damage from
100%.
a stupid science experiment.
Yeah. So I guess Luke can take this one. What is this? What is the human climate?
Oh god, I don't even know. But I mean, it's just the hope to make something fun for not just entertaining, but like informative. Just being able to express not only our creative side, but also be able to link up with other people around the world. Maybe be able to have interesting people on for interviews and stuff. Just something that we can morph into a bigger thing where there's room to grow.
Right. I think one of our first meetings we had about this, and you have this on recording, that this is just like step one in our large plan to become mainstream media and corrupt the earth. I hope to launch my music career. I hope to launch my acting career, and then a counter podcast to this one to self-destruct. I think it's safe to say.
Wait, so you
Any objections to?
I mean, like I said, streaming.
You can't say this. Do not say this.
You'll cover that. Twitch. YouTube.
I'm not gonna plug anything because everything I do is terrible. I'm a philosopher.
He's a philosopher.
Do not say this either. I am also unemployed.
So
Thank you, Mister that works at AutoZone.
What? AutoZone is the best.
AutoZone. If you need a discount,
Dude, my
This
boy
is
here,
true. Jesus always comes through.
he has the biggest brain for cars. Like, he will
And
outsmart
does it in
anyone.
Spanish.
bilingual.
Dude,
So
He may know about cars, but I know a lot about planes. Just saying.
he's hot in
That's big brain.
another
Next
big
time-
brain
Wait,
flex.
do you
Next
know
time-
about them in Spanish though?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, he's not
Lo siento, perdóname.
No, he
He's
brings
flexing
it,
now.
He
He's
brings
flexing
it
his
up.
Spanish.
Yeah.
So the first thing. Oh what?
Oh no, nothing.
The first thing I wanted to cover, start with a light note, because we're already 15 minutes into this.
1:30 we have left.
I want to start on a slight note, but still keep it political. Last week was something we hadn't seen before, and it was the famous Twitch stream with AOC and Ilhan Omar. And I don't know if you guys paid attention, but it brought in over, in total between everybody, there was 10 people. It brought in over 500,000 viewers. Which is insane. This is bigger than when Shroud came back and stuff like that. And I was watching this thing yesterday from the New York Times, and they think that Twitch is going to be the new political platform because how successful it was with AOC and Ilhan, and how short notice it was. If you guys don't know, AOC just kind of put out a tweet. It's like, hey, I kind of want to stream Among Us, which is a popular game right now. Who's in on this? And then Pokimane and Hassan Piker and a whole bunch of a lot of other bigger streamers did that, and they built a PC for them in a day for both Ilhan and AOC. So what do you guys think about Twitch being the next big platform? And I think I'll ask this and we'll restart our equipment. All right, everything's reset. We're back. Is Twitch, do you guys want Twitch to be another platform for politicians?
I mean, what I was gonna say was, I definitely agree that this is definitely a new way for politicians to expand their platform. We're in an increasingly more digital age, and
Right.
especially with the pandemic, where politicians aren't able to go out
And have events.
have rallies unless you're Trump, So it's definitely a lot more efficient to be able to still be out there, to campaign, to bring attention to different issues affecting the community. It's also very. I think it's great in general.
Right, yeah. One of the things the New York Times people had said, it wasn't I don't think they reported it, it was within an interview they brought it up. they said that this might not be too beneficial. So right, AOC and Ilhan, they had great chemistry because one, they're friends, and two, they're pretty young, so this was natural to them. But streams can go 12 plus hours. You can't keep a persona for 12 plus hours, and we all know that with the VODs and clipping Twitch streams, a politician can say one wrong thing and it's canceled. Right? Yeah. So, it might be a new thing. It also might be the downfall of politicians if they're just trying to jump on another wave. As compared to YouTube, you don't have to be live. There's ample amounts of editing you could do. And it's not like Twitch, where Twitch revolves around chat. YouTube has a comment section, but you can completely ignore it and still be just fine.
Yes and no. I think Twitch offers the politics of being able to get to the mainstream a lot easier. But yeah, there's going to be a very huge learning curve for politicians who want to use Twitch. I do not think YouTube is a good streaming platform. It has no real good support from YouTube because YouTube doesn't really see that as a lucrative option right now. I think Twitch offers the ability for streamers to still be able to, at least politicians be able to still stream. And a lot of people don't understand, just because it's live, what you see on Twitch does not mean it can't be heavily edited or heavily manipulated. Ocasio-Cortez would not go on Twitch if she knew that possibility of her saying something bad. So she had it heavily already scripted, heavily probably set up to begin with, and the easiness of it, because she was successful in making it seem like it was just a chill stream, she was able to garner a lot more support from that, even though it's probably heavily scripted, which you'll kind of see as more politicians try to break into the mold of being the common person.
Right. You gotta speak up a lot. Also, when I heard of this, the first thing that came to mind, I don't know if you guys paid attention, was when the military was streaming on Twitch. Do you guys know what happened?
No.
So they were streaming, and then there was a link they were promoting as a giveaway for a gaming PC. But what it did was enlisted viewers, which is terrible. They were just getting 13-year-old kids to enlist, and they're like, oh, you don't fit the age thing, blah, blah, blah. So the military was, doing a bad thing.
That's why you gotta read the fine print.
Well, it's Twitch is for like the poggers kids, And you know what I mean. they're gonna hear, oh, I can get a free gaming PC. I'm watching this on my Android tablet from 2013. They'll click anything. I mean, that happens to everybody too. And also, like, who's to say, as politicians or people who have something to gain from politics will be more sinister about it,
Well, I mean, that's just how the system is. There's always going to be people who jump on the innovation. I mean, the fact is we're at a society right now where innovating faster than we can even keep up. And so we're going to see a lot more trouble and issues with how we use all this new technology. And for example, we'll probably enter an age where politicians will enter in your airspace constantly because they'll be able to be on social media, which we're already seeing. I mean, mainstream media allows for, people to see it in the background. They're not really paying attention. People go to the internet when they want to be educated about, interesting topics they have. So it's only a step for politicians to go towards the internet where it's on constantly and people have what you call an addiction to it. And
right.
So they'll touch more people there, and there'll be a lot more propaganda, and there'll probably a lot more divisiveness in politics, for sure.
Is there, so I know on Twitch when you're streaming, you can categorize what you're streaming. There's just talking is really big now. Of course, gaming has also been big, ASMR. Is there a political tab? Because I went back on AOC to get some context, and her tags were just talking and gaming. I know there are.
Are they not customizable, or is it just kind of like
They're
preset?
They're set.
Yeah,
those are
there's that
preset.
one
But
thing
they're
to
set
search
from
for.
popularity. So
Yeah.
it's not crazy to say that this will now be a preset as well.
Oh.
But I could definitely see if like Luke said, if people go to the internet when they want to learn more, I can definitely see people be like, well, I want to know what Republicans are hearing. I don't want just political talk. I want right-wing political talk, which I feel like that can also take people down a dangerous path.
Well, there's already a lot of right-wing and left-wing political channels. The issue is they're just not very, unless if you have funding, they're just not very advertisement friendly.
Right.
And so because of that, even...
And they're also not established as much when it's just the character online.
Well, it's not even that. There are massive amounts of at least podcast channels now that are taking really big political spins. Like Joe Rogan, he doesn't really push a political agenda, but he allows a lot of political figures and a lot of people there.
Right.
But he's not really, YouTube doesn't really like him because he's not really advertiser friendly. He's also anti-establishment, at least on YouTube. And so...
That's crazy because now he's on Spotify for
probably
a couple mil.
What might happen though is that Twitch will be a bastion for new innovation for a while until the marketing and ad revenue controls Twitch. And then eventually you're going to see a lot more people get silenced, and you're going to see a lot more people switch to what often a lot of political channels do already. They just host their own stream.
Like we saw it, not with the Daily Wire, but the other one with Alex Jones. What?
The Alex Jones show?
InfoWars.
Infowars is kind of like blackballed from the media industry, whatever you would like to call it, right?
Yeah, so they're trying to do it all in-house.
Right, yeah. But one thing I also do fear, along with this, is that you're going to get these personalities and they're going to build a following, as we do see on YouTube. But with YouTube, since it's all videos and not so much focusing on live broadcasting, you can get fact checked a lot easier. You know, in an event, we already see in live events now, people take everything at face value, especially if you're in certain political circles where you just kind of close off and you don't do any follow-up afterwards, or you only do follow-up on the opponent against you. I feel like Twitch would just be another thing where people are taking Joe Schmo from Idaho words directly and not putting it under any microscope, because that's not what he's going for. He's there for, I'm going to say this now, I'm going to be done with a stream in 2 hours.
Oh yeah, but that's no different than what we have already.
Right, which is what I was saying. But the only avenue has been YouTube thus far, which is why we can put a microscope.
Well, I mean, you'll probably have people like YouTube. There are people who are, huge influencers, and then you have people who kind of like are parasites, not in like the mean way, but they latch on to like big figures and they always talk about them. Like, you have big channels, and then you have drama alert come along and leech upon their popularity.
Right,
and
yeah.
drama. And so there'll be probably people who have channels around other politicians' channels who do watch and scrub through their videos to make sure that it's all accurate as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And does that mean that they're going to be checked? Probably not, or listen to the check, but at least the wider audience has the ability to see what is wrong,
right,
if they can search. And it's all about the viewers or the person's desire to actually get that information, because it's out there.
Jesus, you've been kind of quiet. What are your thoughts about all this?
Well, I mean...
You guys speak up.
Louder?
Louder.
He's a soft
cow.
man.
He's a soft boy.
I am a soft-spoken individual. But I mean, I think
But still powerful.
If, I guess, politicians, if they do start kind of publicizing themselves on Twitch, for example, that they... I don't know if it was Luke or you, Eric, that said that they're going to have to try a little harder when it comes to like their acting methods.
Right, yeah. Because you can't keep up this godly figure.
Last night I was watching a Wired video about a former FBI agent. He was dissecting the past couple debates, like the presidential debate and
MVP.
the VP debates.
Right.
And how like their nonverbal communication is kind of like scripted in the way that the presidents or the candidates have their advisors, and they're like, you should probably do this so that people believe you, or like you have this tell when you're like worried about something, or if you don't like a question, you kind of like tend to like touch your eyebrow, you tend to like furrow your your face, and like that's gonna be a little harder to do when you're like live streaming, like you said, for like 2-3 hours, or like.
Which is kind of like the minimum on Twitch.
Yeah. Or like, for example, if you're like addressing an issue that you definitely do not want to address, or like you know that there's a big following that opposes that issue, like especially the comment section, like it's also going to be difficult, like trying to keep that moderated and also like trying to convey that to whoever is speaking at the moment.
Yeah, I would say though, a Twitch stream does not need to be a certain length. I mean, a Twitch stream can
No,
be
but traditionally, like, you can have like David Dobrik strictly only does 4 minutes and 20 seconds. You cannot do that on Twitch.
But if a politician just wants, let's say a politician's being up for re-election or trying to be elected, right? And they want to reach the audience, because the best way to get a person is to kind of make them feel like you're friendly with them and you actually care, or you know them. So that's why you want to pose yourself as a human and make sure that people who are voting for you look and see that you are the human. Because really, a lot of people vote for emotions rather than actual policy.
Right.
And so that being said, all a politician can do from now on, have to do, is host Q&As. I mean, they could be 30 minutes once a week until the election. And then you're just talking to individuals who might be wanting to just ask specific questions, or they might just want, you know, a personality to vote for. Because a lot of people who vote, as a lot of people are hoping that the American people are, they want to say that the American people are, you know, really caring about who they vote. But besides knowing who you're voting for, you know, your presidential debate or presidential election, you don't really know who else you're really voting for. So people just vote what's familiar. And that's why you see a lot of party voting rather than actual trying to vote for individuals that you believe in. And so I feel like Twitch offers a great tool for politicians to just reach the masses and get that kind of like how Bernie Sanders does. He gets a lot of more cult following viewers or supporters.
Bernie would benefit from a Twitch stream.
But he's not necessarily, you know, like the mainstream doesn't really support him and probably won't support him, his ideas for a while. But he can get that cult following, and that cult following tends to be a loud speaker. And so that's why, you know, Bernie Sanders is in the news, or when he was running for president for the second time, right? Or was it third?
No, second.
Second time.
Well, both. I mean.
But that's why he was given so much more attention than clearly a lot of the Democratic Party didn't want him to even be considered an option. But he was still able to get so much attention, which is the power of social media.
You want to add in? I have like a final thing to say, but.
I mean, no. Everything I wanted to say, I said in the first
2 seconds. Kind of like what you're going to. While Bernie isn't radical to people around our age, in the general Democrat and Republican group, he is considered radical. So that's why I said he would benefit from a Twitch stream. But I will also see, like we see on YouTube and other platforms when they make their own platforms, extremely polarizing characters who probably shouldn't have a big platform. Even though everyone should have one, you're going to have people pushing ideas and a certain agenda that probably is not beneficial for the general population. Alright, so we're getting close to the end. We talked about Twitch. Twitch revolves around gaming. So just to keep it light, it's going to be a little heavy. What console are we going for? PS5, Xbox X, or Series S?
PC Master Race.
Shut up.
I would say PC, but
you can't beat a console value.
Well, the only reason why you can is because they sell it at a loss.
Right, which is why you can't beat the
Anyways.
value.
And when it launches, but quickly after a year, like 6 months to a year, the hardware that they have in that system is obsolete.
Right, yeah, but you're spending another $1,000 to upgrade every other year.
Well, it depends, because okay, go.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything. But you said what console?
What are you going for?
What would I go for if I
No,
could?
what are you? You're gonna get one.
I'm not gonna get one, but if I could, I would probably get the PS5.
Can I also make a prediction?
After you say which one.
After, let's
Okay.
answer the question, and then you can make your prediction.
Okay, I'm gonna say PlayStation's gonna win the console generation just because it has
You're
a.
supposed to answer the question and then the prediction.
Okay, well,
What would you get?
I get an Xbox for sure. It's far more powerful. But that being said, I think genuinely that consoles are going to go the way of any physical thing, and it's just going to go the way of Google Stadia. And I think in the next 5 years, there's not going to be another console generation. It's going to be more so.
Well, in
controllers.
5 years, we'll still be on this generation.
Well, that's my point. You're not going to be hearing any teasing of any possible new console generation.
Probably just like a streaming box.
It's because you can use
Well,
a phone now. to stream games like that.
Let's get your opinion, then I have the counterpoint.
Well, first, what I was gonna say, of course, PlayStation is gonna win the console wars. They usually win the console wars because they have a larger cult following worldwide
Doesn't
compared to
mean they're-
Xbox, that usually only does well
And
in
in
the
the
United
US.
States.
Xbox does tend to have better hardware, but yes, for sure, PlayStation has the better code follow.
Yeah,
How? I have.
just based on the sales. But if I had to choose which one, I would go.
He's
with,
still on 360.
I would. I would go with my MacBook Pro 2019 13-inch.
No, that is not an
display.
option.
And my Nintendo Switch because
That is not an
I
option.
literally only play the newest Pokemon games,
Oh my god.
as well as Breath of the Wild.
What do you think
as
about
well
the
as
new
Minecraft.
Pokemon game? It literally dumbed down Pokemon so much that it's unplayable for me.
Listen,
How
it's
do you
fucking,
play it?
it's fucking Pokemon.
Okay, well, no, but Pokemon, like the whole
I'm gonna cut you off right there because I don't give a fuck. All I care about is the new Pokemon games.
sucks. for me.
I'm able to just throw it in my fucking Switch, sit in my bed,
Lick
and
it.
just play it for like a day or two, beat the game,
Okay,
and
what
I
you say?
feel
Lick the cartridge.
I feel fucking happy, okay? I don't care if it's brainless, if it's easier, if it doesn't fucking sell as well as it used to. I don't care if
no, it's still
I
selling
don't,
really good.
I don't care if
Wow.
people like when fucking Trubbish came out, they're like, this is just a ripoff of Driver from the first year. I don't
No
give
one
a
knows
fuck.
what you're talking about.
I don't give
No
a
one knows
fuck,
what you're
okay?
talking about.
I thought they
no
were
one knows
more
what you're talking
considered
about.
It's
like
all
the fact
it's
that-
all Pokemon, okay? It's all Pokemon, and I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna play it, and that's why I fucking hate these because they know I'm a fucking bitch for it.
I mean, that's fair. If
All right, let's start with the nerd talk.
What would you
I
get?
was gonna do. Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Start getting back. And my counterpoint: Xbox is for the gamer fans, and it also looks a lot better.
But it has better UI too. I would even say. At this
Well,
point.
yeah. So
it's not
that's
even just
debatable.
for-
That's all about. But I'm
But-
saying like real gamers tend to go for Xbox. The casual gamer tends to go for PlayStation.
I don't necessarily think this generation though, because Xbox.
No, I'm just talking about. Well, this generation isn't out. I'm
No,
just saying
but what I'm
in general.
But Xbox is shifting its focus because for a while now, the majority is PlayStation has made a shit ton of money for the consoles, and they
100%.
see that. Xbox hasn't really used the Xbox brand as a crutch. It's not their money maker. Their money maker is Windows, selling Windows and all that, and hosting servers. That's the majority of their money. But now they see that they can actually make a huge amount of money as online media because what's going to happen is like with Disney Plus.
Well,
pretty soon
they're
it's gonna
starting
be
to find out that's not true because their streaming service just went kaput.
Yeah, but point is,
What was it called?
which one?
Microsoft.
If I know.
I don't know.
It's where Ninja was at.
Oh, not the Mixer, not Mixer.
Mixer.
No, I'm not talking about.
But that was
I'm
that was
talking about
Microsoft.
I'm talking about actual where you just pay for a service and you buy video. You download the video game overline and you play it online. That's the streaming service that will make billions, if not even trillions. And because of that, Microsoft is seeing a bigger money reason to invest in Xbox brand. And so I think in this generation you're going to see it becoming more advertised as the system you get for your house or for your family because it does everything. It streams, it plays video games, it can even, I don't know, do a lot.
So
So
that's where you're wrong because that is the place of the Nintendo Switch. Okay,
Okay,
you can
so-
throw it
so-
on. It's
so-
this cheap
so-
little thing.
so-
I would like for it to be
Like
portable, I'll give you that. Portability.
$300 console, you know, you just
That's
slap it on your
$200.
TV. $200 console that you just slap on your TV and it's fun for the whole fucking family.
But
You
for
get
you.
classics like Mario,
Mario
Anthony.
Kart, Super Smash Bros, all the
Anthony.
fucking
Any Mario
Pokemons.
title.
You
But
know,
Anthony,
you get
in
Breath
the
of the Wild,
future,
you get
which
Link's
will be different
Awakening.
for you.
They're making a pro version, which will open it up to
Exactly.
AAA titles.
Exactly.
Well, no, not even that.
Mario 4K, never seen before.
You can play Skyrim.
Also, I would like to say.
Skyrim and all
Also,
Reddit.
I would like to say.
sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Cloud gaming is so far off, not because of the technology, but because of everyone's Wi-Fi.
But we have to be careful.
Which is why the cheaper versions of the Xbox and the PlayStation could be worse, especially for us, because we do not have great Wi-Fi.
That is true for now, but I do think
Once again, for now,
I do think
Wi-Fi is not going to improve in a generation.
Well, it doesn't. It's not that the Wi-Fi has to improve in a generation. The infrastructure has to improve. The Wi-Fi, the speeds at which we're able to stream games at a 120 hertz at maybe 1080p. I don't know 4K yet for sure. I mean, most consoles can't even do that. But my point is, the infrastructure is just not there. But as acceleration in this, because there is money in this product, and you're going to start seeing big tech companies, which already you have like Facebook trying to do their own thing. You have even NVIDIA, all these other places. Google making their own online streaming. Like, the money's going to pour in, and it's going to be a quick and fast adoption that's going to
But
revolutionize.
that I don't know about fast. That does not mean we were going to see a complete obliteration of the consoles today.
It's not going to be obliteration. It's going to be a slow whimper and probably eventually die. But
But that's not what you said by next generation.
yeah,
In 8 years.
technology grows fast. You'd be surprised.
It's
Think
been
about it.
13 years. People are still on the 360.
Okay.
I'm still on the PS3. Ow.
Well, you have a PlayStation 4, so
Yeah.
that's not necessarily true. And it doesn't mean that he might be on the same system, but it doesn't mean that the industry hasn't moved past that already.
But the industry doesn't always reflect the consumer.
Well, the industry goes towards where where it thinks the consumer wants to go. And yes,
Right.
they'll be crashing and burning, but often the industry has to stay one step ahead of demand. I mean, for example, like the iPhone when it was originally produced, people would have probably been like, a lot of people even said, we don't need the touch screen, we want the actual keys. So that was an example.
The CEO, I don't know,
But that's an
of
example.
BlackBerry criticized it and made fun of it.
Exactly, and that's an example of how companies need to stay ahead of the consumer. And oftentimes, the ones that stay ahead are considered revolutionary, and the ones who fail but still want to try to stay ahead but fail often are the ones that get lost to history, but they still try.
Right.
But that's how innovation works.
I want to use this segue to Luke's favorite talking point. We are in the day of technology and what we're going to do next. Elon Musk wants to put a chip in your brain. Luke has already signed up to be a test dummy. How do we feel about this? Do you want to explain it?
Okay, so I can.
You saw how he adjusted? Yeah, he's
I
a
can
little
explain
excited.
I didn't even know
a little
about
bit.
this.
You don't know about this?
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, okay, so.
Okay, so there's this law. It's like Moore's law. Have you ever heard of Moore's law, where pretty much computers we have to keep up with it? So a neural link, it allows for you to basically have more storage. You can have like onboard RAM, which allows you to store memories. It allows you to, for example, people who are visually impaired who might not have a good connection with their brain.
That's only a small amount of cases, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that the technology is going to be the only one there. It just means that we're entering a new era unlike anything before seen. We are entering an era where literally, think about it, for the past 200,000 years, or at least we had the agricultural revolution which happened about 13,000 years ago. And then up to then, 1,000 years ago pretty much seemed relatively the same. There were small villages, people were farmers, and blah, blah, blah. Not much progress happened. There was progress, but it was small. Then all of a sudden in the 1900s, the 20th century, there was a huge explosion, and that was because of the early start of the exponential increase of the Industrial Revolution. And because of that, you saw so much prosperity. In that 100-year time, there was more innovation than all of human intelligence before then. Now, the 21st century, we've only been in the 21st century for 20 years, and more progress. Yeah, more progress has been made in this time, in this 20 years, than all of 100 years ago combined.
Right, yeah.
And that's just the law of accelerating accelerating technology. Basically, it means that with each coming generation, technology is just going to advance faster and faster rate because we're going to be more efficient. And that's why people in our society today, we look at our time and change in decades. 100, 200 years
Let's
ago.
not go too far.
No, but this is more philosophical.
Wait, that's where I don't want you to go. How do you guys feel about it? Do you want to upgrade to DDR RAM in your brain?
No.
Well, no. Think about it. If you're handicapped.
Let's give them. Let's give them. How do you feel? Just off of you're gonna.
Oh, sorry.
You're gonna peek.
Well, listen. Okay, the technology's there. Go for it. If someone wants to do it, go for
You're
it.
talking about Luke.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Just fucking go for it.
Luke
I don't
has
care.
been the only excited person in our group.
Okay.
That's why I thought it was
don't-
I
important.
think I
to
need to
talk.
give.
Jesus has.
Can I give it a little bit more context?
No.
as
You're
to
going
why
into
I'm excited?
philosophy.
No, because
Okay.
I suffer from chronic pain, right?
We're gonna have to mute his mic.
I suffer from chronic pain, and because of that, my body hates me, and my legs are constantly basically providing me very, very low standard of enjoyment. So if I cut them off and replace them with cybernetics, eventually technology would meet it up, where not only would I have cybernetic limbs, but then I would be able to have more efficient legs than I have now without the pain. So.
Jesus, want to wrap it up? We'll reset and then conclude with the final question. Like, give your thoughts on this, and then we'll reset.
Well, I mean, mine are basically kind of opposing to Luke's in the way that I don't see a point in it.
Right.
I've watched a few videos criticizing the way that Musk has approached this aspect, or this technology, I guess, because it's nothing new that
It's being done.
Yeah, like
It doesn't have to be. It just means
but yeah,
technology is
that's
there.
basically it. I don't.
You don't have any religious
But
I mean, religiously, that's a whole other story that would take up way too much.
podcast episode 1.5.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, the technology, you could argue the technology has been there. Like the technology for the internal combustion engine was there for a while. It's just we didn't have the technology to be able to make it adoptable. But now we're entering that era where it's going to be adoptable. I mean, the smartphone's going to
But just because it is adoptable does not mean these are the routes we must take.
It doesn't mean that they're the routes that we must take, but it's the routes that we're currently taking. That's
Right.
what I'm saying. And as technology increases, you're going to see more and more so that there are going to be a lot more debates like this, where a lot of people are going to have the fear of new technologies and always say, "Well, let's worry about this. What about this?" But think about it. All the technologies that we have in our lives that we take it for granted have always once been skeptical. A lot of people have been saying, oh, these would be terrible, like the smartphone, people no longer talk to people. The argument that people on smartphones lose this sort of connection, social connection, I find ridiculous.
But
because,
it's true.
Well, no.
No,
You
like,
could-
what would happen if smartphones would never like publicize? Like, if we were just stuck
but the
to
thing is,
flip phones.
Even the
Or
smallest
to
texting or social
Smartphones
media.
Yeah.
allow you a greater ability to connect people. Smartphones allow for you to, for example,
But
the
that
viewers
does-
here who are going to be watching, most of them are going to probably be watching on smartphones.
just because you have that connectivity does not mean it amplifies
You-
social dynamics between
but you
person and
can
person.
call anyone on the globe.
That
besides-
doesn't change. You
No,
can
but
eat
that-
anything you want.
But that means that human technology, the smartphone, has enabled us the ability to contact anyone. There are no longer real borders or times to wait. If you wanted to call someone in Japan right now, you can do that. You
But
can
it-
have friendships beyond borders, and that allows for the ability to no longer, at least you can humanize people. So,
I agree with Luke on this one. It definitely
Oh.
allows for more connectivity between peoples all over the world. You know? I mean, yeah, it still hinders like
yeah,
it
there's
still
downsides.
hinders like social, like your ability to socialize
done?
with people.
No.
Okay.
It still hinders
Final
your ability to socialize with people in person, but it opens up far more opportunities than it closes. Because we still are able to connect with people around us, and in times like this, coronavirus, where we're all expected to socially
Exactly.
distance, like stay
Which we
out
have
of
to.
society within our own homes, like away from friends, family, it's a very important thing to have.
Last question. Yesterday, late at night, well, depending where, probably not that late, but pretty late at night.
We're streaming.
What happened?
So
Anthony.
last night, in a 52 to 48 decision, 52 Republicans, 47 Democrats, and 1 Republican. Majority voted to confirm Amy Coney Barrett onto the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Fast tracking the whole process. I believe it's only been, 36
38 days? 36?
It's been a little over a month since this has happened. It's pretty unprecedented. When Obama tried this, 8 months out from his...
293 days.
Exactly. That far out from his from him leaving office, the Republicans wouldn't even give it a chance. But now, I guess, things are different.
We know why things are
It's
different.
the game of politics.
No, it's not the game of politics. It's the game of a politician.
No,
This is not politics. We've seen this
politics.
similar events more than once in our history, and we've always acted differently. This also happened with Abe Lincoln. He also waited.
Yeah.
This happened with Obama. He was forced to wait.
No, I get it, but it's just another game of how politics works. In order to have pass things, you need majority power, and so if you're going to power, if you need power, you're going to try to find ways of fudging the system or trying to get the best advantage. I mean, it's shitty, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's still-
Wait. Jesus made some faces. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't like talking politically. It's because it.
You don't have
it's
to
dumb.
reflect your views, but
But
the face you made was to what comment?
I guess I don't agree with Luke saying because you're basically saying it's okay.
I'm not
Because it's in
saying
the
it's
game
okay.
of politics.
I'm not saying
No,
it's
you're
okay.
not
But you
saying
did.
it,
But
but
you
you
said it.
I-
saying
I'm
this
just-
is politics.
You're alluding to it,
I'm understanding
And
why, because
that's
this
the
would
thing
happen
that
with
Trump
both.
has also done. It's like, oh, it's okay because this is politics. I can say whatever I can because this is politics. And that politics should not be a game to yes, you need the majority of people to vote for you to win, but you should also have policies that are for the people, to benefit them and us.
No, I-
Because when you're saying, oh, it's just a game, okay, I'm gonna pay off these people or I'm gonna leak information of a certain individual just so that I look better than the other
But
person.
my claim was not to be okay with it. I was just trying to state what modern politics, the environment modern politics promotes right now is just these tactics.
But even then, this is completely new. Usually politics
Right, this has not
is,
been done.
Yeah, but-
yes, there is a game of politics, but we are expected to also have decency
But we're
and civility
also-
within our politics. Like when Trump caught COVID-19, the Biden campaign suspended all negative attack ads against Trump
While Trump ramped up.
in a show of decency, because that's what our politics should be.
And I get it. And this is not an excuse. This is more just devil's advocate. But
Which
we-
is an excuse.
Well, no, but we're also in a different era to begin with politics. We are more interconnected. The government has more responsibilities than before. People rely on the government and look up to the government more so now. So there is a different era of politics.
The government
200
has
years
a-
ago, the executive
ready.
branch didn't really mean anything. No one even cared. Very few people voted because the executive branch didn't have power. Now today we live in a different environment where the president does actually matter, where the Supreme Court judgment might actually matter. It's because we live in a different political climate. We have different social responsibilities and social desires. And yes, I get it. But I feel like this is just another evolution of how to try to get one-upsmanship on your other political opponent. And
Speaking of evolution,
it doesn't surprise me that this happened.
you talked about the special number 9, how it's not that special. Would you like before I do this, Amy, is it Coney or Coney?
Amy Coney Barrett.
Before this, I said she was unqualified, and I found where I got this from. MSNBC did this. Apparently, they got it from MotherJones.com. She's only done 2 years of practice, never tried a case, never argued an appeal, never argued before Supreme Court. Most private work involved civil cases, not criminal cases. 15 years of experience, never served as a judge until this administration. So she is pretty unqualified for the position she is in. Compared to the people surrounding her, and we can say pre their Supreme Court ruling. So, special number 9.
Well, if we're gonna argue that this is a different generation of politics, then I say, if we're gonna leave the normalcy of what politics was, which was decency, that the Republicans seem to have abandoned, then
That's good.
I feel like, well, the Democrats' next step should definitely be policies moving forward to like expanding the Supreme Court. A lot of people call it packing. I don't say it's packing. What's really packing?
Why do they call it packing?
They call it packing because
you're
you're
packing more people.
yeah, you're
into
packing
it.
more
and
people
the
into the
new-
Supreme Court.
The new
If
ideal
you don't
number
agree
is
with the Supreme Court.
the new ideal number is 15, correct?
I'm
Or
not
what
sure
has
what that's
been-
right, but
But
Pete Buttigieg has said 15.
I don't
But
understand
wait.
packing though.
wait, let me
Okay,
finish.
finish.
So
It's not packing.
So I wouldn't really consider this packing. It's just expanding the court, which is something that we've done. The court has shrunk, it's expanded. I believe it's been as low as 6, as high as 10. It's an ever-changing number. 9 isn't magic. But what is packing is the Republican Party's very unprecedented push for Supreme Courts. Under George W. Bush, he was able to push in 3 Supreme Court candidates. Obama was only able to push in 2. He would have been able to add in another third one in his last year of office, but Mitch McConnell, along with the Republican-controlled Congress, hijacked that from him, and now
And
the
bragged about it
Republicans-
in recent debates.
Yes, they bragged about it in recent debates, and now the Republican Party has pushed forward Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and then now in the last 30 days of the election, they pushed forward Amy Coney Barrett. They fast-tracked the entire process when how many people have voted already? 30 million people have already casted their votes.
Yeah.
Let the
Go
people
vote.
decide.
I'm gonna get that
Let
one
the
today.
people
About to go
decide.
Okay, I understand needing to change the judicial system. I just don't think packing or adding more representatives will necessarily be the solution. I think
So how
more,
do you change it?
more so a term limit.
A term limit is also
Definitely.
part of this idea. Yes.
Packing or adding.
Can we agree a life sentence is outrageous?
It is. It is outrageous
I think
for
we're-
someone who's serving possibly 4 years, sometimes less if you get impeached and removed, like what was about to happen to Trump, though he did get impeached, just not removed.
I think a term limit of 10 years is justifiable, and then if you want, maybe there would be something like that.
Maybe like a
I think-
reevaluation.
Actually,
perhaps?
no. I think this might be a little bit
10
more
years seems a
extreme.
little short.
No, I think 10 years is fine because it allows you to survive possibly 2 presidencies. But I do not think you should be up for re-election. I think it should be a one-term system. It's
Right.
more of an honor that our civil service awards to specific members, and you're there for 1 term, you get to do something like that. Or maybe the 2 terms, it's not concrete, but I do not think adding more members, because it's just going to get the same thing. You're going to still have the political divide. Because eventually, let's say 15 people, what's the issue is eventually there's just going to be, and it might not be the Republican Party, it might not be the Democratic Party does it, but eventually there's still going to be a topsy-turvy thing. There might be more Republicans or Democrats
Well, the
in
Yes,
the
and-
the fifth.
and that's-
Wait,
the
I will.
chambers. So it's still going to be the same issue.
I may be wrong, but the 15 number is to have 6 right swinging, 6 left, and then 3 neutral. So that way there still can be a divide.
But that's if you choose to actually award the
Well, see,
Right.
but
based off of
my thing,
political belief and party affiliation.
yeah, and my
Wait,
thing against that though
Keep it short
is
because I
that-
also want Jesus' input as well.
Right. And my thing against that, though, is that the Supreme Court is not even supposed to be a polarized political position. These are supposed to be people who
Understand.
who
Well, civil
unbiasedly.
servants, like the highest.
That doesn't.
Well, they're
civil
supposed to,
servant.
but they're supposed to be like their society sees them as morally standing in the best interest,
Exactly.
and they're
They're
civil
supposed to be.
servants.
They're supposed
Who
to
we
be
just elected is
nonpartisan.
not.
Exactly.
No.
That's the problem. A lot of who we've elected is not. Look at Thomas
In this
Harris.
term.
But Trump's election
Wait,
is
okay.
also a pushback to a lot of how politics was done originally.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily the writing on the wall wasn't there, and there would probably be eventually in the near future another Trump-like figure that would have taken its place.
Right. Jesus, your thoughts? Jesus, your thoughts? I was criticized by calling you Jesus.
Criticize.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
The man who says he doesn't want to be political, show your socks, please.
Red, white, and blue, bro.
America,
Wow.
land of the free,
So
home of the brave.
your thoughts, if you don't want to get too political, you don't have to. Just
I mean, honestly, I don't know much about what's her name, Amy.
Coney Barrett.
Yeah.
ACB.
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 Those
Yeah.
are my initials.
Definitely. Well, I mean, but what I've heard, she's definitely not gonna fill in the shoes that were left.
Oh,
By-
our beautiful, amazing, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. I think that there is a lot of issues that need to be worked out in our whole governmental system
Right.
in general.
I am not opposed to changing the number or adding these restrictions. I just know it looks bad because right now the left is the losing team, whatever, which they are. But there should definitely be an age limit. If there's an age limit to run, there should be an age limit in running. If you're above the age of expected life, you should be gone, my God. If you're in double digits of presidents, you should be gone.
I mean, here.
If you're born, you should be gone.
So I believe these are the qualifications to be a judge. It's you have to be at least 18 years old. You have to be a United States citizen with the capability to vote, and that's literally it. You don't need to have.
We
a
are
law
up
degree.
for the running.
Yes, basically,
But the
we
idea
are-
of that is that the
It's-
average American
Yeah, it's supposed
can
to
do
be
that.
like an
Right.
average because it's
It's not elitism.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
there's
what
not
every
someone running
political.
for
No, I mean, there's always going to be elitism. I get that, but the
Like when you put
way it
family
was
members in the
initially
White
intended,
House.
like you said, it's to try to stave off the elitism because they wanted to stave off,
Well,
monarchy systems.
not
and
so much
how
stave
it-
off the elitism, but stave off like political polarization in general. Like it's supposed to be a nonpartisan position where they're
Oh,
supposed
yeah.
to be the ones who interpret how the laws of the land should be unbiasedly as they can.
Yeah.
We should pull. Who's doing it? Bolivia or Chile just rewrite the Constitution.
No, that's
It was
that's
Argentina.
scary.
Argentina.
No, well, no.
We need scary.
Rewriting the
No,
rewriting the
what they did was they
Constitution.
rewrote their 1975 Constitution.
I
that
get
came
it.
about of a very far-right authoritarian dictatorship military junta.
We don't need the
Junta?
well. Rewriting the
Junta.
Constitution just means
Junta.
passing an amendment because that's what an amendment
We
is.
should also review some of these amendments. The 13th.
I was watching a video about, it was like satire on how the founding fathers were writing the Constitution and then the amendments, and how like the first one was that freedom of speech, and then the second one is like guns. Everybody needs guns,
Well-
and then the third one is
Well,
like
it was also a different time.
But it
where-
makes